Welcome to the podcast, folks. Let's dive into how Mortal Kombat, a game that really changed the gaming landscape. Its release in 1993, full of gore and hyperviolence, set off a spark that
Yeah,
redefined what
absolutely.
games could be.
And that spark was more than just about cool fatalities. It ushered in moral panics and led directly to significant changes in how games were regulated.
hmm Right, exactly. Remember that moment in congressional hearings when Joe Lieberman, in a wood-paneled Senate room, described in vivid detail blood splatters and dismemberments? It was, like nothing anyone had seen before.
Yeah, it really painted a picture. That moment, in a way, forced the hands of the industry. Before that, there wasn't really a formal way to separate what content was suitable for younger audiences. This led to the establishment of the Entertainment Software Rating Board.
Yes, indeed, it was a major turning point. Exactly. And what's interesting is how the controversy not only pushed for regulatory oversight, but at the same time added fuel to the fire of Mortal Kombat's success. It was like the more people talked about the gore, the more they wanted to experience it themselves.
That's really paradoxical. And then when the game hit the home consoles on September 13th, 1993, mid-release excitement turned into a global phenomenon, even dubbed Mortal Monday. It was a simultaneous launch that captured everyone's attention
Absolutely.
worldwide.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. A game that started in arcades, then in the living rooms of millions, triggered global media attention, with networks sending reporters to arcades interviewing teens, literally uh, in the middle of the
Right.
action.
The image of teenagers enthusiastically dismembering fighters was both shocking and oddly captivating. And even mainstream outlets like the BBC got involved. They had segments where authors like Will Self would play the game live on air. Talk about breaking traditional media
Yep, that
boundaries,
really
right?
shows how far reaching the impact was. Precisely. And what's fascinating is that the game was a product of its time. A group of 20 something guys, all inspired by 80s horror flicks and martial arts movies like Bloodsport, Best of the Best, and even Enter the Dragon, putting together what they called the MTV version of Street Fighter.
Well said. Yeah, exactly. It was like a love letter to hyper-violent action. But I have to wonder, don't you think that this extreme level of violence was a kind of marketing genius? The more controversy, the higher the sales.
Absolutely, I agree. But, well, I get where you're coming from. It was a double-edged sword. While the controversy certainly boosted sales and put Mortal Kombat on the map, it also led to debates about the influence of violent content on younger audiences. We can't ignore the fact that it sparked a nationwide conversation about video game
Yeah, I
violence.
see your point. True. And that conversation also paved the way for future debates on games like Doom, Grand Theft Auto, and even more recent titles. Mortal Kombat really set the template for how the industry would come under the microscope.
Exactly, it's like a domino effect in the gaming world. Right. And there was also the fascinating contrast between different console versions. Sega, for instance, embraced the full gore, unlockable with a secret code, while Nintendo sanitized the experience by converting blood into gray sweat to keep a more family-friendly image.
That's a clever comparison. Yeah, I remember reading that Sega's version sold better precisely because um, gamers wanted the full experience. It's almost as if, in a way, the controversy itself was a huge selling point and really defined the market competition during that era.
Absolutely right, yeah. And interestingly enough, despite the technological limitations of the early 90s, like those low-resolution, jerky 2D sprite animations, the game has this nostalgic charm today. The re-released Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection even includes a fatality trainer so you can practice those signature moves.
Yep, that's a neat bonus. Yeah, it's like the past meeting the present. These relics of teen culture now offer a unique glimpse into how things were created back then, combining raw action with a kind of pioneering spirit.
Exactly. And another interesting point, the game wasn't even originally set to be a martial arts blockbuster starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. When that deal fell through, creators Ed Boon and John Tobias pivoted creatively, drawing inspiration from popular martial arts films, and even mixing in elements that truly expanded what a fighting
That's
game
quite
could
an
be.
innovation, isn't it? It is indeed. It's like they were pushing past the boundaries of what was typically expected from the genre. But then there's an argument, right, about whether the shock value really was worth the moral debate it incited.
I see what you mean. Well, sure, it's a tough call. While the violence did push the envelope and create a distinct identity, it also ignited a whole controversy about media influence on behavior. And even though many argue that the panic was overblown, it nonetheless shaped the industry's regulatory
Yeah,
path.
that's a fair critique. Exactly. The controversies paved the way for not just content warnings, but also a fundamental shift in how games were perceived, from children's entertainment to mature storytelling mediums.
Spot on. And looking back now, it's clear that the controversy and the ensuing regulations were part of a broader cultural shift. The focus moved from innocent, abstract puzzle games to more graphically rich, emotionally intense experiences for a teenage audience.
Right? It's like a whole new era in gaming was born. Absolutely. And it's interesting to see how a moral panic spurred innovation rather than stifling creativity. Developers pushed boundaries even further, and the industry matured as audiences did.
Definitely. Also, it's worth noting that despite the initially vulgar and shock-inducing aesthetic, Mortal Kombat's design has an almost enduring legacy. The ways in which it has been reinterpreted over time, from arcade cabinets to 32-bit console adaptations and even spin-offs like Mortal Kombat Mythologies, show a remarkable ability to adapt to changing gamer tastes.
Absolutely. It's like the game evolved beautifully with its audience. I remember when the Fatality Trainer was first mentioned. It's like the creators knew that gamers would always want a hands-on approach to mastering those moves. It adds an element of fun and nostalgia, doesn't it?
Yeah, really engaging and interactive, yeah. Right. And that kind of interactivity is key to how the legacy of Mortal Kombat continues. It wasn't just about just showing off gore. It was about empowering players to experience that shock value on their own terms.
Exactly, putting the control in the player's hands. That said, I do sometimes wonder if all that emphasis on gore might have overshadowed other aspects of game design. Did too much focus on the violence potentially limit the depth of storytelling?
Well, that's a good challenge. That's a fair point. While the hyper-violent aesthetic was groundbreaking, it could be argued that it left less room for, say, intricate narratives or character development. But then again, the impact wasn't just about storytelling, it was about redefining what a fighting game could be.
I get that. And indeed, while Mortal Kombat might have leaned heavily on shock value, its legacy has, over time, opened up space for more diverse kinds of gaming experiences. It really challenged the notion of what was acceptable in a game, paving the way for mature themes and emotional depth in later titles.
Exactly. To wrap it up, Mortal Kombat's release is a prime example of how controversy can be a catalyst for evolution in an industry. It wasn't just a game, it was a turning point, influencing the creation of rating systems, altering console battles, and even changing public perception of video games.
Right, it's definitely a milestone that kept shaping the way we think about gaming today. Yeah, it's amazing to see how far gaming has come since those early days when a single title could create such a stir. The echoes of that impact in every mature-themed game today are undeniable.
Absolutely. It's like a ripple effect that still defines the industry. And that ripple effect isn't just about the game's content. It's also about the cultural and regulatory shifts it induced. From sparking congressional debates to pushing developers to innovate beyond what was thought to be acceptable, Mortal Kombat truly reshaped the gaming
Yeah,
narrative.
it's a fascinating legacy for sure. I think what really resonates is how Mortal Kombat became a symbol, a emblem of an era where pushing boundaries was not only accepted, but celebrated by a generation of gamers.
Exactly. That daring spirit is what many today still admire. In short, while Mortal Kombat ignited moral panic and controversy, it also unlocked a world of creative possibilities. It's a testament to how games can evolve in response to societal pressures and still maintain their core identity as platforms for, pure, unadulterated fun and innovation.
Right on. And that balance between controversy and creativity is what makes it so compelling. It really does. And as we look back, it feels almost nostalgic. But that nostalgia carries with it the knowledge of how far gaming has come and the risks pioneers were willing to take.
Yeah, absolutely. It's both a lesson and a celebration of gaming history. Well, I think that about sums up how Mortal Kombat not only changed the game, literally, but also fundamentally shifted the cultural landscape around video games. Its influence is still very much felt today, in both design and regulatory frameworks.
A transformative period indeed. Thanks for this insightful conversation. It's been quite the journey revisiting such a pivotal moment in gaming history.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining in and keeping the discussion lively. And with that, folks, let's remember that every rule-breaking moment in digital entertainment might just be the precursor to the next great innovation. Stay tuned for our next exploration into gaming history.
Yep, catch you next time.